You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time to take a look at the papers this morning. And I have with me in the studio one of our regulars to help make sense of some of the headlines this morning, Chris Kane Nwandu. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank God it's Friday.
Great. Thank God it's Friday.
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
And shortly we'll be having Sheso Kwade join us as well on the show so we can make sense of all of these together. Oh, Sheso is there already. Sheso, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Good to see you. All right. Now let's begin with the Daily Times newspaper. Daily Times says, anxiety in Ishekiri land over whereabouts of Olu's crown. Anxiety in Ishekiri land over whereabouts of Olu's crown. That's Daily Times. Blueprint newspaper says, Niger, Kaduna, Oyo, bandits sack another military base, attack hospital. Bandits sack another military base, attack hospital, and abduct 2 nurses, 33 others. Gunmen kill 5 in Benue, Edo, scores injured. Buhari condoles with Zamfara as death toll hits 83. Why I stopped negotiating, Gumi is saying this. All right. These are all stories on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Let's go ahead. National economy is next now. Nigerian businesses lose 11 trillion naira annually to erratic power supply. The World Bank is revealing this. Nigerian businesses lose 11 trillion naira annually to erratic power supply. New Telegraph, ambassadorial clearance, disquiet as Olonishakin Burate, others await postings. All right, disquiet as Olonishakin Burate, others await postings. Federal government shortlisting allied countries for ex-service chiefs to avoid rejection. They can either be accepted or rejected. Professor Akinteriwa is saying this. And why National Assembly may invite ex-military chiefs over $1 billion arms fund. All of this on the front page of the New Telegraph. Business Day is next, and how is saying how Nigeria's tech startups are defying daunting ecosystem. How Nigeria's tech startups are defying daunting ecosystem. That's a Business Day. News Direct is next, and it says early age utterance. Presidency rejects call for Pantami's removal, lists milestones as minister, and Khan warns against linking Yakowa's death to minister. That's the Christian Association of Nigeria. All right, that's News Direct. Moving ahead, Daily Trust is saying, federal government is saying Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding, and fingers political ethno-religious leaders tell us their names, tell us their real names. ACF Afenifere challenged defense minister. Northern governors meet Buhari. Gunmen on the prowl kill several in Benue, Edo, Rivers. Okay, Nigeria is bleeding. This is government saying this. Of course, we'll certainly talk about this as we get along. Leadership newspaper is next. Outrage over kidnap of nurses in Kaduna Hospital. Outrage over kidnap of nurses in Kaduna Hospital. Abductors demand 200 million naira ransom, and how I escaped. Another nurse is telling us that. Okay, this is really disturbing. Leadership newspaper there. Moving on now to the Punch. The Punch newspaper says on states cash crunch, governors beg federal government to postpone $2.1 billion support repayment. CBN cakes. And the NEC faults Obaseki, says 60 billion naira not printed to shore up March allocation. The minister fixes May date, and CBN explains technical challenges in further shift. All right, these are all. Recall that the Central Bank of Nigeria governor was saying that the monies that were given to states at some time ago, that's about 4 or 5 years ago, has to, one way or the other, has to be repaid back now. That's on front page of the Punch. The Nation newspaper. Governors take kidnapping killings concern to Buhari. Governors take kidnapping killings concern to Buhari. President orders special military operation. 53 bodies recovered in Zamfara community. All right, we'll look at that. Guardian newspaper: Southeast farmers score Anchor borrowers program low. Southeast farmers score Anchor borrowers program low. That's on the Guardian newspaper. Vanguard is next and is talking about insecurity. Our nation is bleeding now. Defense Minister is saying this. Our nation is bleeding now. Okay, from there, let's go to the Daily Sun. Federal government beefs up security over military coup in Chad. Federal government beefs up security over military coup in Chad. And France backs military junta in Nigeria's neighboring country. All that on the front page of the Daily Sun. All right, let's talk about this. The story on the front page of the Vanguard and Daily Trust. Nigeria is bleeding. Our nation is bleeding. Minister of Defense Minister made this comment and he's saying that political and ethno-religious leaders are part of those making the nation to bleed. I wonder what you make of this, Chris.
I don't think the defense minister is saying anything new that we don't know about. Definitely, we know that the nation is bleeding. The problem is with bleeding, Mike, is that if you continue bleeding and nothing is done, you know what will eventually happen. The person will die.
Of course.
So, if we don't arrest the bleeding now, then definitely something will give. The whole system is collapsing, not only in terms of insecurity, politically, economically, socially, and otherwise. And we are in dear need of leadership direction. And I believe that is now putting it across political, ethnicity, and the rest of it is something we've known. Since 1960, we've always have that challenge. So it's not when we are voting either because of where you are coming from or where you are from or your religion or otherwise. So, and everything in Nigeria, irrespective of whatever it is, will always go along that. People will always believe that. But the fact is that if we are bleeding, have we gotten the right doctors? Have we gotten the right nurses? Are we being taken to the right hospital for management of that wound? If you understand what I mean.
Of course.
Good.
Of course.
So if we are not taken to the right hospital and we are not getting the right doctors and the right nurses to be able to diagnose and be able to arrest that bleeding, then something is going to give. And that is the point at which we are now. So the defense minister should be able to tell us what we are going to do. The buck stops on the table of the president, on his own table, the table of the service chiefs, and the table of all the security chiefs, because those are the people that are saddled with the responsibility of keeping us safe. It is not my responsibility to be able to keep Nigeria safe. Yes, I will do mine as a Nigerian.
You have we have contributed our taxes as
we
our
have
commitment to
we have
ensure
given
that
them
happens.
all they need to work with. The National Assembly is voting funds for them. They are buying equipment, even if they say there is not enough. We are giving them all the support in terms of information and the likes. What have they done with that? So the problem now is Defense Minister, now that you know that we are bleeding, as somebody that is in charge of security agencies that oversees the security apparatus, what are you going to do to be able to arrest this bleeding so that we don't just end up collapsing? Because if you continue bleeding and it's not arrested, then
of course anybody can die.
He will die.
Of course.
So those are the issues. So we pass it back to him. How do we arrest it?
No, that's fine. Now, Sheson, let me bring you in here. This headline, Nigeria is bleeding, or our nation is bleeding, coming from the defense minister. How does this inspire? Because one will talk about the issue of talking about the realities, but when this comes from someone who is supposed to, who understands the security situation and who is supposed to help mitigate any security escalation, how does this inspire or otherwise or discourage Nigerians from what is going on when it comes to having hope in the system?
Thank you very much, Mike. If I take it up from where CKN stopped, the importance of blood in the life of an human being. And like he said, when you bleed and there are no controls, you end up, giving up the ghost. what the minister is saying to us, if I go by your question, is not inspiring. I want to believe that the commander-in-chief of armed forces saw some of the qualities in name that feels he can make things happen, and that's why he's there. So if he's telling us what we know, then I think the best thing at this point in time is to easily just ease out and look for people that have understanding of how to stop the bleeding. Because of a truth, I don't think there is blood in the body of anybody, and any time from now, people can give up the ghost. You need to see the level of insecurity as we speak all over the nation now. It's no longer of the northeast or northwest. It has gone. Just yesterday, we heard about kidnapping in Oyo State. We've heard in Ogun State. We've heard in the southeast. We've heard in the southwest. So it's a general norm. And like we've said, the death of the president of Chad, who has been like the intermediary between us and who has been the stoppage between us and Libya. We all know that as we speak, Libya is a failed state where we don't have unity. There are pickets of gathering together, and that's what we are already seeing in this nation now. You can see the way banditry keeps travailing and growing day by day. Every day you wake up and you heard about certain number of people. They move from primary school to secondary school, from secondary school to public university to private university. So what are we saying? Economy is down, and economy is the life stream at which everybody must move. So if there is no security, there is no way for the economy to grow. And when the economy is not growing, definitely there is no blood that will definitely go into the artery of men to make things work the way it should. So what I feel we need at this point in time is, what are the strategy by the Minister of Defense? Rather than telling us what we know, we need areas where he will tell us the strategy they are putting in place, where we can collaborate with them in order to make sure that this thing is resolved. If nothing is done, Mike, if I look at it few months back and now, before it used to be once a week you hear about banditry and kidnapping. Now it's becoming a daily issue, not only in one state. Every state is now under watch. So you wake up and you hear that they've attacked in Oyo, they've attacked in the north, they've attacked in the east. So people are now resorting to self-defense, which is not good. It's not good at all. So the minister should come up with a strategy that we can critically see where the masses too can come in to support, but we need security. We need peace. If there is no peace, there is no way our economy will grow. And if the economy is not growing, then we are as good as dead. That's why all we are saying now is borrowing, 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 borrowing. No one is safe. Even when you move in areas where they are not kidnapping yet, it's not safe to move anywhere. Everybody is just hiding under the roof so that they will not be kidnapped in the state. So he should tell us the strategy in place, and let's see where the masses too can collaborate. Not the area where he was telling us the other time that everybody should be self-defense, or we should not be afraid of those guns. When they kill one or two, those people too, they will run away. No, we don't need such strategy. We need things formidable one that can push these people away completely, then we can resuscitate our economy for better Nigeria.
Okay. Now, Chris, the point there is a lot of people have said that with the death of the president of Chad, that it has security implication on Nigeria, seeing how porous the borders have been, and knowing also the fact that late president of Chad, Idris Deby, was a very strong ally of Nigeria in the fight against terrorism. What implications are you looking at here? But because one of the headlines we have here, the federal government is beefing up security around the border area because of the death of Idris Deby.
Yes, very huge development and implication. If there's problem in Chad, it will definitely affect Nigeria. Chad is just like Niger to us. It's a border. We have borders. And even the multinational forces comes from those regions, those countries bordering Nigeria. And over the years, they've been trying to curb the excesses of some of these bandits and Boko Haram and the rest of them. And rightly said, the president of charge took it upon himself. He personally goes to the battlefront with his troops, and we saw what he did the last time, and we're having some challenges along that front, and they were able to eliminate most of those Boko Haram. But the problem, we don't seem to be getting enough information from Chad present, as it were. Most of the information we are getting is a bit true that yes, his son has taken over, but we've heard that there have been some
family issues, squabble
and the rest of them.
Who should actually be the,
yes,
you know.
But we shouldn't have found ourselves in this situation where we have to depend on some countries to be able to assist us. I remember some years back, we were told that what is happening within Boko Haram was just the last kick of a dying. You remember, Mike? You remember that?
Exactly, of course.
You remember that?
They said it was the last
kick of a dying horse. That horse has refused to die. I don't know how long it's going to take the horse.
The horse was bleeding.
Oh, it was bleeding.
But now the bleeding has stopped.
Has it stopped? So what I'm saying is,
a serious issue.
It's a very, very serious issue. And that is why I hate us banding statements, and especially from authorities. When we make certain statements, there's this statement, there's the issue that the internet hardly forgets. Whatever you drop, people will always use and come up with it. Just like what is happening with the Minister of Communication now. If years back he knew that some of the things and actions and things he said will come back to haunt him, they would have been more careful in putting it. But back to your question, we have to be able to beef off our security now, in Chad, in Niger, in Cameroon. Those assets now, because the bandits and the can take advantage of the situation. If there's an internal problem in Chad, the Chad will be much interested in arresting the problem it has internally than burdening with what is happening in Nigeria and the rest of them. You must take care of your home. Yes. So charity begins at home for them. And so I just believe that we should do more. Our security agencies should do more. Before now, you were talking with Patrick on the issue of state policing. I still believe that we should look at that, irrespective of the challenges we have with constitution and the rest of them. Already some states are already, regions are already doing that. Southwest is starting with Amotekun, the Southeast is Ebubago, and others will come up with something. But whatever we can be able to do, because it seems as presently the situation is going beyond even the security agencies. Look at the police force. Police that is supposed to protect Nigerians are the ones being attacked on a daily basis. They are being run out of town. So if you don't have police, the police is being attacked and they are running away and not be able to handle the situation,
then what should we do?
People like us will just run to other countries and seek help. So it's the president, when he came back from his London trip, they asked him, Mr. President, now that you have gone to rest and you are back, what is expected of you? He said continuity.
He said continuity.
I don't know the level of continuity.
No, we'll just go ahead.
So we should just go ahead. The continuity for me should be arresting the situation. This bleeding horse, camel, or human being, or nation, as the minister said it now, must be arrested from bleeding more. If we continue to bleed and we are not even adding more blood, then there's a possibility that something must give. All right,
Sheson, let me bring you here on the issue of state police. We see the body language of the government now. It seems they want to take this up so that we can, the agitation and and all the call and clamor for state policing can be achieved. Do you see this as the solution to, because I was asking my guest earlier as to whether this is going to be the solution to the issue of security. He said he doesn't see it as a solution. What do you make of this, though?
Yeah, well, from my own perspective, I think it's the way to go, because the federal policing has actually been outstretched. We are not recruiting, but we need a close range to the grassroots, so that when you see strange thing happening in a particular environment, you can know how to nip it on the bud. At the federal level, you see we moving a northerner to the south who does not even understand the language. And you need language when it comes to policing. You must understand what what your enemies are planning against you. So that's why for me, it's strategic that community policing is where we need to go. If we need to integrate with the federal policing, fine. But we must empower the state. Let's remove the fear of what the politician can do with some of these things. But we need to guide our people. If you observe it, several people have started using that. In so many estates, we have security apparatus that secure them and have an handshake even with the regional police, divisional police around them. So let's go the route of state policing. Let it go to the grassroots. Let everybody secure their area. So when people filter in to do, that does not mean that it's going to be only the Yorubas that will protect the Yorubas, but you are there to protect that region. Imagine people that have been staying with one another for years. Why suddenly the differences that is creating unrest in that same area? Those things will definitely be investigated, and with that you can even empower the traditional rulers who understand how the terrain and what the people need. So community policing is an area where we need to go, where we need to do. I appreciate that the government is looking in that direction, but let's do it wholeheartedly, not just haphazardly, where we'll do and stop by the wayside. Because part of the issues that we have with government is that our policy, we are not consistent with it, which is really not too good.
Okay. We have to leave it here now. Thank you so much, Sheson Kwade, for coming on the program. And Chris Kendingwandu, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
And have a great weekend.
Yes, same to you. Thank you very much.